Hello and welcome. My name is Leif Opsted, and I'm joined here today by someone who I've looked up to for a very long time, one of the best NFL content creators in the business, with over 1 million subscribers, has raised over $3.5 million for a charity since 2021. Of course, as you can tell, he is probably the biggest Packers fan on the internet. I am proud to have on here today the man, the myth, the legend, Tom Grossi.
Hey there, what's going on? I just look at, I'm not that tall. It's like 6 foot, so I feel like you don't have to look up
You're
like too
taller than me
far.
at
You know,
least by
it's
about an
it's
inch and a half. So
it's not much.
yeah, you're tall enough to be wide receiver one.
Hey, always if they can make it at 5'11" and insane athleticism, I can make it at 6 foot with mild athleticism.
I mean, yeah, some people have
All
made
right.
it, but anyway, I kind of just wanted to get obviously one of my favorite things I did was going to all 30 NFL stadiums in 30 days. Of course, you're doing this again starting, I believe, May 27th in Los Angeles.
Yeah, that
So
sounds about right.
yeah,
That's what we have it memorized. I'm flying 2 weeks from Wednesday, and then it starts 2 weeks from Friday. So yeah, I think that the
yeah,
27th sounds
close
about
enough.
right.
But
Yeah, exactly.
honestly, what cities are you most excited to return to, and what cities are the most excited for? Okay, I want to build off of the uh, the last trip because I feel like it didn't go exactly as planned. So, like, obviously, Chicago
Yeah,
dealt
it's
you
a
a crap hand.
yeah, trying to give me allergic reactions in Chicago. Well, I mean, I think there's a few cities that stand out. But what's fun is that the places where I was able to get into stadiums last time, that's not like a priority this time. And so because of that, it'll actually give me more time to explore a city and actually be there because, man, I'm in there for like 12 hours to 18 hours. So there's
Yeah, that's
so
not a
only
whole
so
lot.
much time. It's not a lot of time, and that's like travel time to get in there. And on top of that, whether it was to get to the stadium and then it was the fan event, which ranged from a couple hours to 6 hours. So it's all over the place. So what's going to
Mhm.
be really nice is, like, for example, in Seattle, during 30 and 30, I went to some of these cities, the majority of these cities, for the very first time. And Seattle was one of them. And not just because, all the Seahawks gear that's going on, but man, did I love Seattle. Like, Seattle was just like, the vibe was really cool in Seattle. And just see, that was my first time in the Pacific Northwest also. So Seattle's definitely high up on the list. I can't wait to go back to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh was a
Oh
super cool
yeah,
city. I can't wait to eat food again in Atlanta because that was
Slutty
really
Vegan. I know
good.
you love that
Um,
place.
that's all I want. And then it was funny is because I was able to go back to New Orleans one time since 30 and 30. And I really just got to, like, actually got to spend like 2 days there instead of just 18 hours. And man, like, New Orleans is just such a vibe. Like, it's very different from any other city. Like, just the historical aspect is super cool, but like the culture
Mhm.
down there and the food is also great. Yeah, so like those are just like a handful of the places that like I'm super excited to make my way back to.
Yeah, of course. Of course, I know. I was just like at the start when you announced the whole thing. Of course, a little bit of it is just like, oh, great! I have to go to Seattle now. I gotta hear about JSN getting sniped from my hands, which I actually am wearing a JSN
It's
throwback
so
jersey.
the Seahawks, like the Seahawks were such a great org when we went over there the first time, and it was super cool. And we were walking doing the tour of the stadium, and I was like, all right, I'm ready for the Fail Mary stuff. I'm ready for the no, like the championship game. And they're like, no, there's none of that. And we're walking along the hallway, and there's these giant printed out pictures on the wall of the Fail Mary and of the NFC Championship game. And I was like, I thought we talked about this. And they're like, we got to show it at least once. So yeah, it's just like walking through like the Packers Hall of Misery on the way over there.
I mean, it's only two games, but they were pretty bad ones.
They're pretty substantial games. Yeah. I mean, like, yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's so funny, like, just how embedded the Seahawks are in now Packers history and even just like Packcast history. Because the Fail Mary, I wasn't even doing this podcast, but that was the most angry I've ever
Yeah.
gotten
Oh
at
my
a football
gosh.
game. and was like, wow, do I need to go to therapy? Like, do we need
It's
this?
just like,
There was so much anger
it's
over
like,
the referees there. And then
yeah.
the depression that came with the championship game that
Oh my
started this.
gosh.
So again, it's just, they're always
Yeah.
going to be linked.
I mean, who knows? I mean, I've talked about this on your streams a few times about, the Fail Mary stuff, which, yeah, they screwed up horrendously. And thank goodness they're not going back to replacement officials this year. But
We avoided that, thankfully.
yeah, I still think MD Jang should have just done what Tom Jackson would yell during NFL primetime, like, knock it down. It's fourth down a Hail Mary
It should have
situation.
knocked it down. Absolutely should have knocked it down. But yeah, I'm just glad we don't have to deal with that issue again this upcoming season, and at least
Yeah.
for the next like 7 years or so. So that'll be
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. Thank goodness. Crisis averted. Yeah.
Yes.
Um, so I kind of want to talk a little bit about the Packers, of course, obviously being your team. And I'm really interested to know what the outlook of this is because I'm not sure how to gauge off of last season because of all the mounting injuries. Obviously, the Micah Parsons
Sure.
injury was substantial, but I feel like other injuries as well, like losing Tucker Kraft sucked big time. Losing Devontae Wyatt was a huge blow. Like I feel like the run game collapsed, not so much of the Parsons injury, more so the Devontae Wyatt injury because he was having an outstanding
Yeah.
year. But of course, it didn't help that Brandon McManus just sucked. Thank
Hey,
goodness
it's
he's
time for
gone.
Trey Smack that all on the floor now. That's it. We got a new kicker. We're happy now. It's like a
Yep.
great last name. Yeah, I mean the outlook for the because you hit the nail on the head in terms of the injuries because like it is tough to gauge what kind of team the Packers were, right? So even when you started the season, Micah Parsons comes in like he's not fully in football shape yet. He's like still like they're utilizing him on a snap count. He gets that great sack there on Jared Goff week 1. But like the first two games play out and it's a short week and
Mhm.
they beat the Lions, who the Lions had been sweeping them. So I was like,
Yeah,
okay,
they
that's
have been
that's
kicking
pretty
your
good.
ass for a few
Uh,
years.
it's
But
been a couple years that it's gone the other direction. I was
yep.
like, okay, great start, right? And then they have a short week and they play the Commanders, who just went to the NFC Championship game, and they took care of business against them. And I was like, are
Mhm.
we going to the Super Bowl? Because it's week 2. But I'm like, these are both playoff teams that we just knocked down and like made it look pretty. The defense looked really good. So the fun times did not last,
Oh
unfortunately, because
God,
like
that
then you had the
Browns game
Cleveland
was
game where they
just
blew. No, it's just the Cleveland game they blew that. The Dallas game they tied it. There's games that they just let get away from them. But going into Tucker Kraft, like there was that Sunday night game against the Steelers where Love was amazing. They took care of business in that second half against Pittsburgh. But Tucker Kraft was like really damn good. Like he was one of the,
yes.
if not the best tight end in the league, like the first 2 months while he was
Mhm.
still healthy. And so losing him, and not only just as a receiver, but also as a blocker was significant because we had some injuries on the offensive line. Zach
Yeah.
Tom got injured, and once he went down, like that was a huge problem for our
Mhm.
offensive line that they never really recovered. And you talk about the different areas where the Packers lost folks. As you mentioned Devontae Wyatt, and I 100% agree. Like him along the D line, he is the guy on the D
Mhm.
line, and there's
Yeah,
just
for sure.
unproven guys that are there. You lose Micah Parsons, and of course you're going to lose a huge, it's one of the most premium positions in the NFL, and he's one of the greatest edge rushers in the NFL. So
Yeah.
you lose him, it's going to be a little problematic.
Like
And Lucas Van Ness, he also got injured
mhm.
too. And before he had gotten injured, this was the first season where he actually started to show signs of development because when he came out of college, he was insanely raw and he really just had
Yeah,
that,
for
what a
sure.
lot of guys have. They have a ton of athleticism, but they really just have that bull rush technique where it's like, I'm just going to use my size and strength to just bull rush after the
Yeah.
quarterback. And if that doesn't work, they didn't really have like a spin move or a like, swim to
Mhm.
kind of get some kind of technique. And so that took a couple of years to develop, but you saw some promise there. And Parsons had a lot to say about him. But then the problem was is our secondary, not talking about our safety unit, but our corners, like that is definitely or it has been a position of need. And so when the pass rush wasn't as good, that kind of exposed the corners a bit
Mhm.
too. And then you look at the offense and you mentioned like the Zach Tom going down, Christian Watson going down. And it really kind of, and you already mentioned Tucker Kraft going into that Denver game, even without Tucker Kraft, like the Packers, they were holding their own against the Broncos, and
Yeah,
they
for
were looking
sure.
pretty good. And then just everybody got injured and like they were never able to bounce back from that. So I feel pretty confident, in the Packers. I feel like they're kind of on that list of teams that are going to get better just by virtue of getting healthier, right? Like the 49ers are on that list, like the Chargers are on that list of just, okay, there were some key pieces that just weren't in games last year.
Mhm.
And so, if Parsons and Kraft can get back pretty early, yeah, I feel pretty confident the Packers are still going to be contenders.
Yeah, I mean, who knows like what the Bears are gonna do? I mean, the Bears last year were basically the Pete Carroll thing of like, can you win the game in the first quarter? No. Can you win a game in the second quarter? No. Can you win a game in the third quarter? Hell no. Can you win a game in the fourth quarter? Yes. That was their entire season.
Yeah, that was their whole season.
Yeah.
But it worked, man. I mean,
Yeah.
like in the Bears, you can't look at the Chicago Bears and say that they are not a different team last year from where they had been previously. Caleb Williams, he definitely took some steps. The defense, while problematic at times, was insanely opportunistic
Oh,
and was causing
absolutely.
turnovers left and right. And yeah, like, and you look at the coaching too. Like Ben Johnson definitely is not without his flaws, but for him to go in there after the mess, that Eberflus
Oh,
and others
God.
left in
The
Chicago,
Flus Goose.
he made the team better. And you look at the Vikings, like they're a quarterback away that I think from being like really serious contenders. And then you look
Yes.
at the Lions, they had missteps last year, but I think that they're going to be better this year. Another one just by virtue of getting healthy, especially on that
Mhm.
O line, and then hopefully having an offensive coordinator that knows how to do things.
Yeah, I mean, who knows if Drew Petzing's the answer, but considering his tenure with Arizona, I doubt it.
He wasn't dealing with a full deck in Arizona. Let's just
No,
say
it's
he
that's
didn't have a
true.
full
I
deck of
mean,
cards.
hey, that Cardinals are just there's of course you've seen the Hydra meme where it's like the
Yeah.
three like serious ones and then there's the one
Yep.
clown. The Cardinals are that clown.
Yeah. Yeah. And especially in your division where it's not even all three teams make the playoffs. All three teams won a playoff game. Two out of like half the division was in the NFC Championship, and then someone
Yeah,
wins the Super Bowl.
yeah,
So
they're like
like they,
three of the final
oh
four
God,
teams in the NFC.
yeah, that's pretty tough. And then you're the Cardinals who are like, all right, let's see what happens. So
We
yeah,
upgraded
it's
the Wi-Fi. Everything's good.
yeah, everything's good now. We're still charging our players for the cafeteria food,
Oh my
but
gosh.
we got it.
All I need to know is just look at the Titans collapse. Like, I never thought there was a way to top the infamous "they are who we thought they were" collapse back in '06, like when they
Yeah.
against Chicago and they gave up like a 20-point lead without allowing a single offensive
Yep.
touchdown. But they somehow topped that against Tennessee. It's not just the way that they collapsed. This is against Brian Callahan's Titans. Like, that is
Yeah.
especially bad.
Yeah, it's pretty tough out there. And I mean like the Cardinals, man, they've fallen quite far from like the Kurt Warner days of like, oh
Oh my
damn, like
gosh.
this is like a really fun, exciting offense and it just
Yeah. I still remember, I think the game that made me subscribe to your channel was the Cardinals Packers game in 2021. Of course, Arizona was like 7-0 to start. And then
oh
they
yes, the
lost the Rasul Douglas interception where
AJ
AJ Green,
Green, right? Not turning around.
yeah,
Yeah,
his controller disconnection.
yeah, undefeated, go in there in prime time, had a bunch of injuries and stuff. Yeah, that was a good day. That was a fun game.
Yeah. Of course, I kind of stole your P from the D Magic about a year later. Because if you remember in week 18, of course, you had to win and Seattle needed to win, which because they took care of business against the Rams, and they needed the Lions to beat you guys.
Yep.
Prior to, I think when the Lions took the lead, it was like 20-16, I think. Might have been like
Okay.
23 or 20, somewhere around
Yeah.
there. And
Vaguely, yeah.
I'm like, screw it. I'm gonna go P for the D to help the Lions. Little did I know that I caused Aaron Rodgers' last pass to be an interception.
Yeah, good old Kirby Joseph. Yep,
Yeah,
that's
oh
uh,
man.
that's it. So you live and die by the P for the D.
Yep. Yeah. Anyway, I do want to talk about the Seahawks a bit because obviously reigning defending Super Bowl champions. Of course, I was at the game, was an incredible experience to be at. Of course, you've obviously been yourself, but it wasn't with your team there. So,
No, yeah, no, I mean, we got to almost see a double overtime, but yeah, just got to watch the Chiefs win the Super Bowl again. They beat the 49ers, so like,
yeah, I mean, we
there
both
was
take
there was
that.
at least some. I was like, all right, it's not terrible. It's
Yeah, it's the
fine.
lesser of two evils.
It's true.
But I kind of want to know your thoughts about the outlook for this season. Obviously, they've lost a few pieces, like K9, obviously going to the Chiefs, Kobe Bryant, Boye Mafe, obviously Rick Woolen, although he kind of ran himself out of town with that
Yeah,
taunting penalty in the NFC Championship game. Uh, but I feel like I want to know your thoughts because I think they've done a relative good job with addressing it in like the draft and stuff. Obviously, I know
sure.
people were saying Jadeveon Price is a bit of a reach, but I'm like, this isn't a Rashad Penny situation where he's going in and it feels like a luxury pick where there are other needs elsewhere. It's like it seems like the right pick,
Yeah, I
and
mean,
of course they draft secondary and edge later on. So
yeah, I feel like it's also that is a position of need, right? And if
yes,
they think that Price is like the guy there, then it's kind of like who cares? Like listen, we talk about reaches and the draft board and all that great. One, it's subjective as hell, but two, like the Packers, they had 6 picks, man, and like all their picks were for positions of need, right?
yes,
And that there you don't want to have to be drafting like that. But I think that there are also times where there are guys who just like fall in your lap and you're like, okay, because the Seahawks were trying to trade out of the first round anyway.
yeah.
And like there was talks of them potentially moving. But I think just to go and get, and they would have just gotten their usual second round running back. But I feel like for them, like the Seahawks are such an interesting team because going back not last year, but the year before that, they were a 10-win team. And I bring this up all the time, but they played the Packers that year. And like the Packers, like it wasn't they took care of business against the Seahawks. Like it
Yeah.
was close for a bit, and then they took care of business. And I was like, okay, like you could see the Seahawks are building, but they're just not there yet. And then they go and win the Super Bowl. And I think it's crazy because obviously you see the transition from Geno over to Sam Darnold, right? And when Sam Darnold signs with Seattle, and correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like even Seahawk fans were like, okay, we don't have Geno anymore, so all right. But I don't know like what the expected ceiling was
Yeah,
for
I
the
feel like
Seahawks under Sam Darnold.
yeah. I will say I think I was probably like expecting like an 11 win season, maybe 12 if we're lucky,
Yeah.
because I think that Darnold was an upgrade over Geno Smith. I didn't think of how
Yes.
much. In no world was I expecting like 14.
No, and I think that that's the crazy thing too, is because one, the defense got so much better, right?
Oh
Under
my
McDonald, like
gosh.
the defense night and day. And then the big thing was, and this is what I shouted the Seahawks out for, like the most obvious pick that they needed to do was the Gray Zabel pick, and they did it. And like
Yes.
that changed their offensive line like significantly. Cause then it's like, oh, because behind Geno Smith, Geno does the best he can, but man, oh man, was he behind a bad offensive line. And like
Oh Lord.
that caused a ton of problems. So it was not only did the defense get better under McDonald in his second year, but on top of that, the line was healthy, which was an issue for Sam Darnold in those last 2 games when he was with the Vikings, against the Lions. And then, of course, he got destroyed by the Rams.
Oh my gosh.
And then I think like the biggest difference was in that week 16 game, right? Because Darnold was not looking good in that game. He's
Mhm.
throwing picks and stuff like that. But getting that comeback win against the Rams, which was just a great game, and then just having that consistent run game
Yes.
nonstop since week 16. Because like they had that game against the Colts, and that was like a when Philip Rivers, and like that was just an ugly ass, like weird game. And even then, you're kind of like, okay, they're a playoff team, but like we'll see how far they wind up going. But man, like once they got that run game going and they had that, JSN is a monster,
Oh my
obviously,
gosh.
and he earned every bit of that contract. But I feel like just having all like a balanced offense with a really good defense just made them a really damn good team. And on
Mhm.
top of that, making like a pivotal trade, midway through the season and getting Shaheed, which
Oh my
also gave
gosh.
like a huge boost to your special teams. Like all these things came together and it just felt like the Seahawks were a very balanced team. And so heading into this year, I think your number one concern is the run game just because there's question marks, right? It's like, how good is
Mhm.
Price going to be? When is Charbonnet going to come back? You pick up a Packers player, Emmanuel Wilson, and he was a good RB2 last
Yeah,
year.
he'll be RB2 again, or
Yeah, he was a good
situational
RB2,
back.
but he's going to be RB2.
Yeah.
And the offensive line, I mean, you could probably tell me better than I could. this has been like the first time that the Seahawks are bringing back all their offensive linemen for as long as I can remember, that there's not like a whole lot of shuffling going on. And so I feel like, while we were talking about the Cardinals and being in a really difficult division, I feel like the Seahawks, yes, they did lose some pieces, but I believe in McDonald's defense. And I believe as long as that run game can be above average to help out Sam Darnold, like I still think that they're going to be contending as well.
Oh yeah. I feel like it's gonna be another good year. I'm not as bullish as like repeating as like one, I don't want to jinx myself because I've
Sure.
had that experience in Super Bowl 49. It's like, hey, we're going, it's down to the one, like just run it up the middle from like under
Yep.
center, and then no.
Yep. 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 That's
Yeah.
but I agree. Like I don't know if I'm all aboard the oh man, Seahawks are going to repeat wagon, but I think because they have such a young team and I really like McDonald there,
Oh
I
yeah.
feel like they are going to be in the conversation and as you make it to the playoffs, man, then who knows?
Yeah, all bets are off once you get into the postseason. Of course,
Yeah.
you know that from 2023.
Yep.
Yeah, it's funny because I bring up 2023. I think that was the only slight quote unquote upset pick that I made. It was purely out of spite because I was sick of Scooter's dances.
That's it. He wasn't dancing too much after that one. No.
I mean, of course, you did the mock dance afterwards.
Yep. What a time. Man, that was a
Yeah.
great game. I loved that
Oh
game.
my gosh. The
Yeah, no,
two.
the
Sorry, go
Seahawks are
ahead.
interested, but like the Rams are fascinate me in that division because
Yes.
like they've been very busy this offseason. Like
Mhm.
they spent some big time capital to go and make that secondary better. And if Stafford is where he was last year, like that is going to be a good squad. But yeah, I mean, like they're going to go up against an interesting defense in you guys.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, of course, I don't know what they were doing with the basically going the Jordan Love route in the first round this year, but it's like,
It was a decision.
yeah,
That was a choice. Yep. That was a
As,
choice.
I hope the Rams fans go out there go like, crap, this is how Tom Grossi felt in 2020.
You know what? And like that's a thing too, because leading up to that draft, and again, it wasn't even Jordan Love. It's not even like the
No, it's
player. It's like, and I feel like Rams fans a few days removed after the Ty Simpson pick were like, okay, like this guy actually has some tools though. Like he could develop behind Stafford and like you kind of cope a little bit, but it's like, all right, like I can see the vision. The Packers didn't have to, it wasn't a top 15 pick, right? Like
no,
they're still picking in the 20s, just same with Aaron Rodgers.
yeah,
I just wanted Patrick Queen, man. Denzel Mims was also up there. I'm glad we didn't get him, but man, we just had gotten run over by Mostert in the championship game by the 49ers. And I was like, please, someone just like look at the defense. And yeah, I mean, like you draft for the future. And when it works out, because when Rodgers wins back-to-back MVP, you're like, okay, yeah, this did not age well, but now it's aged pretty darn well. And
oh
it's like,
yeah,
okay, well, now we don't have a quarterback problem. But yeah, man, during that actual pick, it is tough to see the forest through the trees because you want to go and win right now, especially when you're a game away from the Super Bowl.
yeah, that's true. I mean, if they had a competent special teams, they'd be Super Bowl champions.
Yeah,
Like I stand firm by that.
yeah.
I mean, of course, the one meme, the one image that's been going around is like McVay just looking towards Leslie and just not pleased. And it's the same thing you talk about. It's like you're picking for the future when you want
Yeah.
to win now.
Yes. Yeah, and that's what the role of a GM is, right? Like that the coach can only coach the guys that are on the squad, but the GM is the one who's making the roster. And for better or for worse, like again, it's not super duper popular, but you had Snead coming out and saying, with the 13th pick, like that shouldn't be what's going to get us over the hump. And you're like, yeah, but like, man, I don't know. Ruben Bain might be pretty good. Like he
Yeah.
might, you put him there next to Verse, might be pretty solid.
Yeah,
But
of course, I think I saw like the video when Ruben Bay went to grab the Buccaneers hat. He didn't even look in the mirror. He just like straight out. He's like, oh, he's
man,
pissed
I
that he
hope that guy's a
fell.
monster. I hope he's so good. Like again, the Bucks have needed an edge rusher for a while, and like I think Bain could be that guy. I know folks talk about his like lack of arm
Yeah.
length, but
The little camel
man,
arms.
yeah, just listen. As if we can have some Bain memes for the next few years, I'm all about it.
I was molded by the
Exactly.
grass slide.
The amount of content possibilities are endless. So
Yeah. I kind of want to get to the streaming side of things because I know you've streamed basically every Packer game and primetime, but just about every primetime game since about 2018, I believe.
Oh boy. Prime time, because I've been doing every Packers game since 2018. And then prime time I feel like has gone on, oh boy, maybe like 2020. Here, I could actually answer this question. Do you remember the date? And I can look it up if you don't. What was the
Uh,
date of the Monday Night Football game between the Rams and the Chiefs? Like that barn
uh,
burner that they
I think
did.
I know which one you're talking about. It was the 54-51 game, and I know you said you
Yes.
skipped that one.
Yes. So that, hold on, Rams Chiefs, was that 20? Like it was like
It
it,
was
yeah,
it was
51.
2018.
It was 2018. So I probably have been doing it now since 2019, somewhere around there, because it literally is because of that game.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I'm not going to stream this Monday Night Football game. I don't know how good it's going to be. And it's a classic. And I didn't stream it. And I was like, well, now I'm never going to miss it
Yeah.
ever again. And we're going to stream every single primetime game.
Even that means that I'm getting to stream multiple primetime games involving the 2022 Broncos. Like
Yeah.
that's how committed I am to
Yeah.
the bit.
So I've gotten punished for it many, many times and streaming some really terrible games on
Yeah.
prime time. But this is the cross I have to bear. That's what I get for missing that Rams Chiefs game.
Yeah, that's true. I kind of want to more on the flip side of it in terms like because I want to know this question. I asked Grav this when I interviewed him, but like his favorite moments that he's watched with his fandom. Of course, he picked like a few hockey ones and even a baseball one because of course he's a Texas Rangers fan when of course they won the World Series in 2023. I want to
Sure.
know top three Packer games you've streamed and top three non-Packer games that you've streamed.
Oh, that's tough. All right, Packers games. Because it's funny because like I have top Packers games that I haven't streamed because it was just pre-Packcast, but ones that I've actually streamed, man. You mentioned that Cowboys 23 one, like that's got to be up there.
Yeah, for sure.
That's got to be up there. It was a really rough season, but Percocet Aaron Rodgers coming back after getting injured by Khalil Mack and coming into the second half and beating the Bears,
That was
and
your
the
first one,
Bears
right?
like that was one of the first games I've streamed. Like that was a pretty great one.
Mhm.
The Bears wind up that was the double doink that year, which may be up there for one of my favorite games streamed. Uh, but yeah, other Packers game. Oh man, I I don't know if it's in my top three, but it's up there. Packers Chiefs from Sunday Night Football was pretty great for a few years ago.
Yeah.
Like that was just that was like a Jordan Love game. Like that was really good. Yeah, because the other ones. I'm trying because a lot of them I wasn't streaming. So because there's been a lot of heartbreak in a
I
bunch of
mean,
those games. So there's been a lot of like least favorite, the Buccaneers games, the 49ers
well, I
games.
mean, it's
But
more like the streams that top three. The other ones like top three Packer non-Packer games
yeah,
that you
not
streamed.
non-Packers. I will say the Chiefs Bills 13 seconds game. So
Oh my
sorry, Bills
gosh.
fans, but it was one of the greatest playoff games of all time.
Yeah.
Like it was truly like everything that was happening was holy cow. Like I can't believe what I'm watching.
Mhm.
Um that was just like excellent, excellent football. Um then from there, I mean, I have favorite what like to go the super recency bias, I really like that Bills Ravens game. Like the Bills Ravens game to start
Week
last
one
season
last
was a
year.
lot of fun to stream. Like that was a really good time. Chiefs Bengals AFC Championship game, when the Bengals actually won, that was super cool. But one that's actually under the radar there from that season was the Bengals Raiders. I think that was right. That was like the wild card
Ah,
game.
yeah, that
That
does
was
fall
because
through the
that was in the
cracks.
intro for a while. You thought the game was over. That was a pretty great game. Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
say like those are floating up. But at 13 seconds, I think might be one of my favorite games I've ever
Yeah, for
streamed.
sure. I mean, I feel like in terms of like non-Seahawks things that you've done, I think my personal favorite has got to be the 2022 wildcard game between the Chargers and the Jaguars when they came back
Yeah,
down 27, of course.
that is that was speaking of wild card, the Cleveland Browns and the Pittsburgh Steelers, like when the Browns actually won, that was like
Sure, he was so
oh
pissed.
damn, like this is fun, like this is it, and it never got better for Cleveland after that. Like you could
Yeah,
you could
that was
point
the
to that
peak.
moment and go. That was the peak. Um, yeah, no, that was those are anytime that you can have, and that's been some of the fun of streaming too, especially streaming games that are not my team. Because when they're not my team, I also am a little bit more relaxed
Oh
because
yeah, for
even though I'm
sure.
yelling the whole time, I'm more relaxed because like I don't have the emotional stakes tied to it. Like I'm invested just because I love football and watching, but man, then I can kind of actually just fully relax and enjoy the game. So like whenever there's those games where like there's those insane comebacks or like the finishes are wild, yeah, it's super enjoyable, especially to watch it like with fans of that particular team.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's one of the best things about football, especially when you don't have a dog in the fire. Just like, hey, I enjoy this shit.
Yeah, I'm just enjoying it.
Yeah, I kind of want to maybe talk about one of the games I streamed. This is kind of a little bit of going back to the Packers and something that I don't want to know what kind of your opinion on this because I've talked about this a lot with the 1 yard line with Super Bowl 49, why it's not just a shoulda ran it kind of deal. This is just a
Sure.
football thing kind of thing. What is it with teams running out of shotgun on 4th and 1?
It's a great question. I would love to know the answer. Yeah, I Matt LaFleur. It's so funny
Yes.
too because especially this past season where you had like a vocal amount of fans that were like, "Hey, we should fire Matt LaFleur." And I was like, "Hey, man, like he's still a really good coach, but man, oh man, this is how you know like I don't just defend Matt LaFleur because every time that he lines up to run it out of the shotgun on 4th and 1." An angel dies, a piece of my soul dies, like just some good in the world dies because it just the juice is not worth the squeeze, right? And I
No.
feel like when you are a power run team where you have a guy like your offensive line is good, you have a guy that's averaging, 3 to 4 yards a carry, we're having a different conversation. But especially like when the Packers have had injuries on the O line and it is highly expected that they're going to run, and the fact that teams can literally call out the play, then
Yeah.
it's time to do something
Yeah. It's
different.
like
So
when the
yeah,
yeah. It's like
it's tough to sit here and be like armchair coach, right? And
no.
like
Yeah.
there's a
No.
reason I'm not a coach in the NFL. But there's times where I'm just using my eyes and going, "Hey, we should not be doing this because you're putting yourself already in a disadvantage. You're already I understand you're giving him a little bit more momentum, but man, he's got to go further now. It's a 4th and 1, and now it's like a 4th and 2, 4th and 3, and yeah, I
Yeah.
don't. I don't know. I don't know what the analytics say, but that's maybe when we don't listen to the analytics. And please, for the love of God, draw up anything else. Give me a
Yeah.
jet
Well.
sweep. And like jets, if a jet sweep fails, a jet sweep fails. Fine. Or just give it to
Yeah.
the quarterback you're paying $55 million to, whatever. But
Yeah.
yeah, when you find out that answer, you let me know.
I'd love to know. And I still remember, I think it was 2022 week 1. Of course, you streamed that with Perna, Broncos, Seahawks. And the Broncos ran out of shotgun on the goal line twice and fumbled both times.
Yep.
Because I streamed that game too. I think it's like the first video I ever did. I mean, it was
Yep.
terrible. Like I missed large chunks of the game. And of course, in This Week in Sports Ball, Trey's like, now I see how the Seahawks passed the ball on the 1 yard line.
Yep. Yep. That's why there's like, hey, vindication.
Yeah. I mean, that wasn't even the worst thing the Broncos did that game, which that would
No.
be that when the average schmuck is calling out stuff
Yeah.
better than an actual NFL head
It's not
coach, then
great.
that's a problem.
It's not great. It's not good. It's not good. Where it's
Yeah.
like, hey, I know what I shouldn't know what this is.
It's just
Yeah.
like, why are they taking so much time? And why are they kicking a 64-yard field goal instead of going for on 4th and 5?
Analytics, man. Man, what a time. What a time. Yeah, Nathaniel Hackett. That was
Oh
whew.
man.
Yeah, Packers helped him get a job.
Yeah, but
Yes, they did.
I believe that's all that I have for today. So thanks for coming on here today. So much
Yeah, I appreciate it, man.
appreciated.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. Also, I'm assuming most people will know who you are, but in case anyone doesn't know or they live on a rock or something, could you let the folks who are seeing this know where they can find you?
Yeah, I'm Tom Grossi. Type in Tom Grossi on the YouTubes and you'll find me. Yeah, going to 30 stadiums in 30 days. leaving in a couple of weeks. We're doing it all for charity, for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. And yeah, come out to a fan event. They're free. So it's a grand old time.
All right, that sounds good. So that'll do it for this episode. If you like this one, feel free to hit like. If you really liked it, feel free to subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.